More and more often, Warhammer miniatures, especially characters, come adorned with huge stones, rubble, or debris on their bases. The height advantage gained from standing on these so-called tactical rocks is clearly very important to heroes and characters from the 41st millennium to the Age of Darkness and even the realms of Sigmar. All joking aside though, tactical rocks have an important role to play in how our miniatures look. They're great for world building, allowing for more dynamic and interesting poses, and of course, making your favourite characters stand big and tall among the rest of your army. With all that said, you're definitely going to come across some tactical rocks in your Warhammer painting journey. And in today's video, I'm going to show you 4 simple ways to paint them. Let's get started. Here are all the paints I'll be using. I've gone ahead and broke these up into 4 different lists as I'm painting 4 different schemes. And it's also a list of the additional equipment that I'll be using. For our first example, let's paint a standard stone scheme, something pretty common that could be used on any tactical rock you fancy. First up, the undercoat. I'm using Chaos Black for this and all the other upcoming examples. There are some other great undercoat sprays that you could choose instead, but we don't normally choose our undercoat colour for the base and instead choose the appropriate one for the mini on top. I don't know which minis are going to go on your bases, so to keep things simple, Chaos Black it is. With the base undercoated, I'm going to base coat the whole tactical rock using Mechanicus Standard Grey. 2 thin layers should do the trick nicely. Next up, it's time to shade, and for this example, I'm using my trusty pot of Agrex Earthshade. This will give our tactical rock a natural, earthy tone, making it look more like a piece of nature and less like some rubble. With that done and dry, to finish up, I'm applying an all-over dry brush using Celestra Grey. You can use loads of different paints for this step, and they'll all give you slightly different results. I'm using Celestra Grey because I really like this paint, but you could totally use a different grey if you wanted to. But anyways, with that done, there we are, our first tactical rock finished and ready for its mini. I've gone ahead and finished up the base with some texture paint so we can see how it looks. On to the next one. For the next example, I'm painting these ancient ruins in an almost sandstone effect. I'm starting off with a base coat of Zandri Dust. You may need to apply an extra layer or 2 as we're painting over black, but that's totally fine. And with that done, it's time for shading. To give this ancient ruin a nice warm feel, I'm using Seraphim Sepia. If you don't have this paint, Reikland Flesh Shade is a great alternative. And with that done, I'm finishing off with a dry brush of Screaming Skull. Blammo, our second tactical rock is finished. I've once again just completed the rest of the base so you can see how it looks. For our third effect, I want to do something a little different and paint a mossy tactical rock. Something that you might see in a jungle or an overgrown battlefield. To paint this, first up I'm base coating the rock with a few thin layers of Deathguard Green. Once that's finished, I'm applying Seelie Green shade all over. There's actually 2 other green shade paints to choose from here, so feel free to go with those instead if you fancy. And then finally, to finish it off, I'm applying an all-over dry brush using Krieg Khaki. That's 3 tactical rocks done, which means there's just 1 more left. You've probably noticed by now that all of the schemes so far use just 3 paints, and we're continuing that trend going forward into our final example, a rubble effect. First up, the base coat, which I'm doing using Administratum Grey. This is a layer paint, however, so you will need at least 3 thin coats for a nice, smooth finish. But when it's done, it will look great. For the shade, I'm using Norn Oil. This will darken down that grey a lot, so if you want this shade to be a bit more subtle, you can mix in some Lamy Medium first, but I'll leave that up to you. And finally, to finish up, I'm applying a dry brush of Corax White. I'm doing this much more lightly this time round though. Too much of this will ruin the effect and a little goes a long way. And there we are, the 4th and final tactical rock is complete. Once again, I've just tidied up the rest of the base and I think this rubble looks great. Well, that's 4 different ways that you can paint tactical rocks on your miniatures. Hopefully you found some of these methods useful, and if not, try combining them together to create something of your very own. Anyway, with that all said, that's all from me. If you're looking for more tutorials, tips and tricks, you can check out some of the other videos on the Warhammer YouTube channel. Or alternatively, you can head to a Warhammer store where our friendly staff are always happy to help. Thanks again for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.